Anders Hove's presence, even if brief and subtle, has once again become a source of ominous intrigue on General Hospital, reminding fans that the legendary villain Cesar Faison, one of Port Charles's most notorious antagonists, continues to cast a long shadow over current storylines. Even though Faison has been presumed dead for years, the character's influence is looping back into the narrative in unsettling ways, and that connection is intrinsically linked to Hove's iconic role. In the most recent turn of events, Port Charles's psychological tension ramped up dramatically when Anna Devane was kidnapped and held captive by forces that want to keep her off balance. In episodes airing late January, a disoriented, drugged Anna began experiencing terrifying hallucinations, including visions of people from her past meant to torment her and destabilize her mentally. Within that harrowing sequence, Anna hallucinated visits from Peter August, but also sensed the looming presence of Faison himself, suggesting that the terror and memory of Cesar still haunt her mind. These scenes highlighted how deeply Faison's legacy has embedded itself into Anna's psyche, even years after his death and physical absence from the show. While Anders Hove is not physically on screen as a living character at this time, the aura of Cesar Faison is being used as part of the current psychological warfare plot against Anna. In one of the creepiest narrative beats, distorted messages and shocking mental visions implied that the far-reaching threat of Faison is still very much alive in Anna's mind, making audiences momentarily wonder whether the evil genius might resurface in some form. The use of his name and legacy in these scenes underscores how terrifying and influential Faison remains in GH mythology, a villain whose psychological impact can still rattle longtime characters like Anna to the core. In fan and spoiler discussions, there's been additional chatter that the show may be using Faison's reputation and history as part of a larger mind manipulation scheme. Some speculate that the current antagonists, including characters like Jen Sidwell and others working behind the scenes, are intentionally leveraging Faison's legacy to heighten fear and uncertainty, especially as Anna is being isolated and manipulated. That dynamic has made Faison's name surface more frequently as a looming threat, even in the absence of a physical return. From a storytelling standpoint, this usage of Anders Hove's character works on two levels. It brings emotional resonance for longtime viewers who remember just how terrifying Faison once was, and it deepens the psychological sense of dread around Anna's current predicament. Rather than resurrecting the character outright, the show appears to be using his memory, and the idea of him as an instrument of fear that continues to torment the people who were closest to him, or fought hardest against him. Although Faison himself hasn't physically walked back into Port Charles in recent episodes, his influence looms large in the tense, dark scenes that have dominated GH's winter storylines. The suggestion that he could still show himself someday, whether literally through a twist or figuratively through psychological echoes, keeps the door open for future surprises. After all, in the canon of daytime drama, dead has often meant not done influencing the story. For fans of Anders Hove and his portrayal of Cesar Faison, the current arc offers a nostalgic but unsettling reminder of why the villain was such a formidable force in Port Charles. Faison was never just a brutal bad guy. He was a calculating, cerebral threat whose psychological reach often exceeded his physical presence. The fact that his legacy is now being woven into Anna's captivity storyline shows just how deeply the character's influence is embedded in General Hospital's storytelling DNA. As the weeks progress and Anna continues to battle her inner demons, both real and imagined, the shadow of Faison, invoked through memory, fear, and manipulated hallucination, is likely to remain a haunting element of the plot. And even if Anders Hove himself isn't back on screen yet, his character's legacy continues to shape emotional reactions and narrative tension throughout the show.